Sis and Tell, a whole lot of talk, a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up, Alison's on TV, and when they hop on the phone, you already know it's the place you wanna be. Sis and Tell, the podcast that's so sweet. Oh, Sis and Tell, Sis and Tell, a whole lot of talk about, a whole lot of nothing. Sis and Tell.
Hey, Allie.
Hey, man, what's going on?
So there is an open casting call going on. And
Thank goodness you said casting call. I was hearing open casket going on. And I got very, very uncomfortable. So keep going. Yes.
Well, I'm probably, so old that I may as well be dead for this opportunity. I don't make sense for this casting call. I'm just going to say that, but I have an inflated sense of self, and also as that what the Yogi Berra saying is, you miss all the shots you don't take.
There you go.
Right? Isn't that Yogi Berra?
I have no idea, but it's a good quote.
I know it's not Yogi Bear, so
well, I don't know about that, boo-boo.
All right, Ali. So Vogue is doing an open casting call.
Wow.
And yeah, Vogue. And they say they're looking for the next generation of model. And this is my question. Do they mean like that figuratively, like the next generation, the next concept of what a model is? Or do they mean it literally, as in not my generation?
Like 15-year-olds.
Like you have to be 18 plus. Or does it mean like the younger generation, but they're looking for that next generation and they're open to different looks and abilities, right? So I didn't care, and I tried to audition, which all you had to do was you filled out this form with your sizes, which I'm sure immediately they're like, and then a link to a video.
1950 call. You no longer can be a size 6 and be qualified as a model. You must be a -10.
Seriously, and you have to be like 5'9", which I am obviously not. But then you had to send a link to you like doing your runway walk. Okay. And then and include their tag. But so first of all, I did the video, of course, and I made it funny, and I did the walk, and I look good. And then all these moms have liked it. And I'm not saying it went viral on TikTok, but 2,500 views. I was pretty happy with that. And my friend Tiffany saw it. She loved it. And I saw her in person. And then she's like, oh my God, did Vogue call you? And I was like, you know what? I couldn't even do the application because the site was so busy. And then she looked at me like, oh my God, I was joking. And she actually, like, she thought like she was joking, but I wasn't. It was a little humiliating.
She thought you were being sarcastic about submitting it to Vogue?
Yeah. She thought I was being sarcastic.
She doesn't know you very well.
She doesn't know me very well, obviously, right? Because she's like, and she laughed when I was like, the site wasn't working. She's like, oh, Amanda. I was like, no, really, it wasn't. It was disappointing. I tried for 6 hours to submit my application and I couldn't. So now I'm hoping that they find me through the hashtag. That's what I told her. And she still thought I was joking. And I was like, well, this is awkward because I'm not joking.
So I'm shocked that you even want to entertain the idea of being a model. And it's not because you don't like the spotlight. It's not because you don't have a fierce runway look or that you're not beautiful enough. It's that when you're in a fashion show and you're in the back changing clothes, you have to be basically naked in front of other people. And I know that's like one of your hard stops in terms of,
but also
like, your comfort level.
Naked in front of people who look good naked.
Okay, let me remind you that this was something like even since childhood that you were very modest.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying it levels up to being worse because all those people probably look good naked too. So it's not even like just.
Well, I'm just going to say, even when we were both home recently, and I walked upstairs and happened to be semi-naked, and you freaked out.
I was like, why are your boobs in front of my face? Yeah.
Because we were all women at home, and who cares? I don't know why you have such like a visceral, scared reaction to the naked form. It's just nature.
It's private. Yeah.
Well, I'm not not putting my boobs on TikTok. I was literally walking around my childhood home. There's a difference.
I get it. But here's the thing. I would walk around public in a bathing suit and you wouldn't. That's the difference.
I
Like
walk
I
around,
would,
public, like in Publix, like the
yeah,
grocery store.
that's true.
Yeah,
Yes.
no.
Literally I did that. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay wearing something skimpy. I just don't want someone to see
Well,
my
and this
tatas.
is back to the back of, and I know this because, mommy with all of her fashion directorship, special events, work for 40 years. When I was in middle and high school, I was in the back of many a fashion show, quote
And they're
unquote,
naked.
helping behind the scenes, and had to very quickly get used to nakedness all around. And it was fascinating. And just the tricks that these models had in terms of lack of literally anything like underwear or whatever they were doing that made it happen, and how you tuck the tags in the clothing and how you tape the bottom of the shoes. It was all it was a good education you couldn't get in the classroom. But all this to say is there probably has been a lot of evolution in fashion, in the fashion world. I don't think the nakedness behind the scenes has changed, so I'm worried about that for you, that if you commit to
Okay.
something like that, you're going to have to be naked around other naked
Well,
people.
let's let it be a problem when it's actually a problem. Okay? When Vogue calls me and they're like, "Amanda, we're going to get you to do this runway, this fashion show."
Yeah.
If I'm like questioning about being naked, we'll go from there. I have
Yeah.
ways, by the way, of not being naked when nakedness is kind of required. So I'm good.
Okay.
I have a way of changing without people seeing things. I've
I
had to
gotcha.
be in a locker room before, okay? And one time I went to a Korean spa and I didn't know it was a naked spa and I had to be naked and I was pregnant with Oscar and Ruby at that time. So, I'm just saying,
Well, and
I
I'm going to quote Joe Lieberman. I know that's a weird person to quote at this time, but I remember
well,
when Joe Lieberman ran for president of the United States, and he is a religious Orthodox Jew. And someone asked him, they said, the inauguration is always on January 20th. And what if January 20th falls on a Saturday during inauguration year on the Sabbath? What will you do? And he said, as my grandmother would say, I should be so lucky to have such a problem. So, as you said, you should be so lucky to have such a problem that Vogue wants to enlist you as part of the next gen of models, and you have to get over your fear of naked. There
yeah,
you go. All right, I'll help you.
exactly. And
We'll figure out the therapy
we
necessary.
we talked about this last week on our podcast is doing things that you're scared of,
Right.
right? And putting ourselves in situations that are uncomfortable and you're like, "What's your next thing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. They get presented to me. I'll know my next thing when it pops up. So
All
maybe
right,
this is
Vogue, you
it."
heard her. She's ready.
Yeah.
She's ready. She's ready to be the face of a new generation
But
or the
not the
next
boobs,
generation,
but not the boobs of a next
not the
generation.
boobs of a next generation. No,
Keep
that's
my
funny.
boobs to myself.
So I have a question. So when you're in public with someone
Mhm.
and like you're with a friend and then they see someone and their immediate reaction is, and the person, but they hug the person and you're not a hugger. But then you become a hugger by association. And then you're stuck with that person. Is this making sense?
Yeah,
Like,
like, but no, but you are a hugger, but you're not with that person because you don't have that comfort level,
yeah. But
right?
sometimes if you're like sometimes look, there's been two situations in particular. One is there's been a few situations where I hugged someone because I thought the person was very close to my family, not our immediate family, but when I married into the Lebovitz family and I had moved to Chattanooga, I would see people and I'd always err on the side of hugging, if that makes
Yes.
sense, right? Like we're an
D-
affectionate people
Does that
anyway.
make sense? Look who you're talking to. You've called me the lip kisser.
Okay.
I'm not, but I am a
Yes.
hugger.
Well, and I'm a hugger and sometimes a side kisser, but I hugged this person once and then realized in the middle of hugging, this is 24, 25 years ago, literally within the act of hugging, that it was wrong. That the hug itself was just
Yeah.
it wasn't right. And I eventually I reversed it and never have to hug the person again. That's a whole other story.
Right.
But now I'm very cognizant of like who I hug. Does it set a precedent for hugging? And now
Yeah,
I've found myself in a
it
different
does.
situation, which is when you're with someone and they're a hugger and you see somebody you both know, but they're in a hugging friendship relationship and you're not. Do you become a hugger by association? And this is a real problem.
Was there alcohol involved?
No.
Okay, so that
This
makes
is
it more difficult
yeah.
because,
Yeah.
because if it's a sober moment, then you don't have that, like, as a falling back on that as a reason, right? We were
No.
both somewhere, we were drinking, hey,
Right.
jovial moment.
Or
Yeah,
even how does Aaron feel? Like you're a hugger and a lip kisser. And then they're
yeah,
like looking at Aaron going, "All right, buddy, pucker
hey.
up."
Well, I mean, I can tell you that the person, you don't want to hug them or they don't want to hug you. Or it's just the
Yes.
relationship doesn't call for hugging.
Yes, one of those 3 options.
Why aren't you committing to one of them?
Oh,
Look.
like I was talking generically. You're saying with my
Oh,
situation? No,
yeah.
I'm saying I don't really feel like I'm in a huggy relationship with the person I encounter, but the person with me does. So then we're all hugging, and then it's all sort of that awkward
Right.
half
Like
shoulder, half arm
the
hug.
side hug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're okay not being stuck in it. I think sometimes you may not even be able to touch them though, because you can go from like hugging, especially a side hug, to just seeing them publicly, like, oh my God, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
But you can't go do a fist bump or a handshake because then that immediately looks like you're trying to avoid hugging them
Right.
versus like we're just running to each other in the grocery store. I don't think you always need to hug people,
I get it,
right?
but see, there are 2 things happen. Like COVID actually eliminated that social awkwardness because nobody was hugging, much less even fist bumping. Right? You were just sort of you were happy to see somebody at a
Yeah.
socially appropriate distance and sort of wave or like give them a little wink. Then once COVID broke and really broke, let's hope it's really broke. I think people went the opposite side of the spectrum, right? They were so happy to see people and be
They're
able
like
to like
making out with each
touch.
other now. They're like,
Exactly. They're like
so
dry humping
happy.
in the frozen food section. I mean, they're it's like, holy cow, we can
Right.
touch.
What's your name again? It's great seeing you at that
Right.
PTA meeting.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Thanks, Stan. I need 2 more bags of frozen okra if you could get those for me.
Is this
Um,
awkward? Oh, you're not a humper. You're more of a hugger.
right.
That's how you
So,
level up hugging,
right. So
humping.
now it's just one of those like, who do you hug? Who do you not hug? We have cousins who she's totally a hugger and a double kisser, right? I call it like the French kiss, the mwah mwah on either side, which I
Yeah.
love. He is not only not a hugger, but he doesn't even shake your hand. Has always done, even pre-COVID, the fist bump,
Yeah. Is he a
except
germaphobe?
a little bit, but he yes. So he also though has sort of like certain people where he'll fist bump and then certain people he'll side kiss because that's appropriate. So I'm part of the very elite side kissing. And it's funny because if I'm with people,
Mm-hmm.
he will discriminate. Like if he sees a group of people, he will fist bump everybody and then side kiss me. So it's very obvious that I'm part of this like elite squad. But people, I don't think anybody cares. It's not like they're desperate to side kiss him. But I
Right.
think it's funny that he knows the people and I know. And during COVID, I didn't even do the side kiss, barely even did the fist bump. But we've emerged back into that.
All right. Well, I do think if you've gone from hugging to not hugging, you still have to greet that person a little more boisterously,
Yeah.
right? So they don't feel like you're being standoffish. Because if you don't act excited to see them and you're no longer hugging them, then it may come across as like you're upset with them or you're being
Right.
rude. So
Right.
you have to greet them with a positive energy to make up for the fact that you're no longer hugging them,
Right.
as I said from the other perspective. Because I'm the one who's going in for hugs, and then the next time seeing that person and they're greeting me with a fist bump because they know it's coming. And because there's so many times I've hugged someone in mid hug, I'm like, okay, I misread that. They're not a hugger, and I
Yeah.
need
When
to
you misread the cue, it's so awkward.
it's so awkward. And I consider myself an emotionally intelligent person, except when it comes to hugging. That's when I kind of have like my blinders on. And it's,
Right. My default is a hug, I realize. Alan also said for a long time, I think I've gotten better. He'll be able to weigh in on this, I'm sure, while he's listening to this on 3 times speed in the car, um, that I'm a winker. That when and it's
oh
not a
no.
flirty thing, it's just one of
Ew.
those,
You
I know,
wink?
yeah, I did it for a while. I don't do it anymore, but it's just it's like an affirmation,
Yeah.
but I sort of do the, yeah, yes, exactly. The one wink.
It's
He's
like
like,
a
stop. You're winking at everybody. And then I
It's
didn't
like
even
a
realize I was
real
winking.
it's like a real life emoji. You know?
Yeah, I don't it was I was a real life emoji. Um, but then
I
I've curbed the winking because I realized that can be interpreted differently than my intent.
Also, as we get older, you have to be careful because we can pull muscles in really weird situations. And you don't want to wink and pull a wink muscle and then your
Right.
face is stuck like that.
That'd be awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, the perma wink.
The perma wink,
It's a thing. Hmm.
and you kind of look like Popeye.
Hmm. So another thing I'm very bad at gauging, besides whether the hug is appropriate, is how old people are. Because for a long time, I always just assume people are my age, no matter how. I mean, unless they're really young or
But
really old.
people our age, they look old.
That's the thing.
And
So,
I'm like, do I look like that? I was just
right.
talking with my friend Shelly about this. I'm like,
Okay.
do we look like that? Do we look old? Are we in denial with how old we look? Or do we, and I don't even want to say, do we look good for our age? Because I feel like this is what our age looks like. And maybe they look bad for our age.
Right. I'm
Like,
constantly playing. It's like a giant game show now. And I walk around going, do I look that old? Or do I look that young? Right? If I see somebody who looks really good. Like when, I don't know if we talked about this, but the Alicia Silverstone commercial during the Super Bowl this year. Did you see that?
no,
Where
I
they
love
did, oh
her.
my gosh. So it was a whole spoof on Clueless.
Uh
And
huh.
I'm watching it and I thought they had taken a scene from Clueless for when it came out. Okay. And Alicia Silverstone is 47 years old. When I tell you, I swear she looks like she's 20 in this clip, in this new commercial, and I'm watching it and I start freaking out because I have the opposite of not, wow, they're about my age and they look so old. Look how good I look. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she looks so good." I even turned to our nephew who was watching it with us and I'm like, "Do you see that woman? Do you see?" And he's about 30. I go, "Do you see that woman? How old is she?" He goes, "I don't know, 25, 28." I go, "No, she is not. She's like my age." And then he said, "And Allison, there is no way she's near your age. She is like 25." And I'm like, right? Like, that's an honest reaction. She looked unbelievable.
Okay, so first of all, she has the benefit of good lighting. They lit this, right? She's got a professional makeup artist. She might be wearing face tape. I'm just saying,
That's true. That's true.
people
That
wear
makes me
face
feel a
tape
little better.
now,
Right.
right? Like you're gift wrapping your face. I don't understand that.
I don't
Face
understand.
tape,
And eventually the tape has to come off.
right? Your poor husband. Whoa, what happened to you?
Did you ever see that Shark Tank where they had this? It was body tape and literally like for your thighs and for your butt. I mean, all this stuff. And Mr. Wonderful was pretty hilarious. Kevin O'Leary, he's like, "So let me get this straight. You've taped up your whole body in parts that make it look thinner or younger or smoother than it is. And then you get romantic with someone and you get home and all the tape comes off, and everything falls." And I started laughing out loud. I'm thinking, yeah, exactly. You're just literally masquerading as somebody else. And then, up, the jig is up. Sorry, this is what I really look
That's
like.
why they need to make shapewear with holes in the crotch. So it all stays in
Yeah.
place.
No,
This is gonna have to be an X-rated
I know.
podcast
I just want,
episode.
I
I
want a
need a
man like
crotch hole.
Alan. I
I
want a
need a
man like
crotch
Alan
hole in
who
my
loves me.
shapewear.
I want a man like Alan who loves me for me and my cellulite. Like, it's
Yeah.
just, this is how I am. This is who I am. But it's sort of like my house. So here's what I figure, right? So at home, like, anybody who lives with me knows that I make piles everywhere. I'm not the neatest person. I'm not dirty.
Organized piles.
Organized chaos, really. Organized piles. There's stuff, and I've got little things in closets. And then when company comes over, though, I hide everything so that my house looks pretty spotless. That's how I am, my body, right? Like at home, here I am with the wrinkles, no makeup, what, wearing whatever. But in public, I sort of have to, you know, straighten the sheets and dust up everything
But
so
I'd
I
like
look
to
different.
say you're not really putting a lot of throw pillows on your face.
Well,
Like you're
is that a
pretty
compliment or
yeah.
not?
No, it is supposed to be a compliment. Trying to
I'm like, I
stick
feel like I've got throw pillows down under my eyes.
trying to
So
stick with your analogy, but you don't wear that much makeup. You don't put
no,
on foundation. Like I'm
no.
watching these young women on TikTok and they are doing foundation and contouring And I mean, the contouring is insane,
It's a
first of
lot.
all. I don't like these women really transition from the way they look naturally to someone entirely different.
Yeah.
And it's really amazing to watch. It is artistic. It is an optical illusion. And it feels generational. I'm sure there's women our age who do makeup like this, and makeup trends
Right.
all over the place. And there's like in the 80s we were doing lots of eye makeup, we being mommy, and it was eye makeup, blush, and shoulder pads. And
Right.
now it's contouring, foundation, and body tape.
I know.
So
I've never been comfortable wearing a lot of makeup because I don't really know what I'm doing.
oh,
And so, yeah, it was also like wearing perfume. So for a long time, I wore perfume. And then, I have a terrible sense of smell. So I couldn't even smell the perfume on me. So then I
oh
didn't know if I was wearing too much or too little. And I thought, well, who am I wearing perfume for? If I want to smell good for myself, but I can't even smell myself. So why am I even just doing this? The same for makeup. Like, I'm going to put this on thinking it's going to look good, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And I could miss a spot or this. So I'd rather just do the minimum that I know how to do,
yeah.
and then everything else, it's fine. Look, I'm willing to age naturally and gracefully. Here's where I draw the line. At my gray hair, I'm just not doing it.
See, I
And
was
that's
gonna
just me. That's as
say,
vain as I'm vain, I'll admit it. I just
yeah.
don't think I can go gray. And I have a lot of friends who have gone naturally gray. They look beautiful. They've embraced it. I have embraced them. I think it's marvelous. It has worked for them. Honestly, it would it would not work for me.
Good,
I think,
good for you.
yeah,
Right. That's how I
I would
feel.
say
Good
I
for
would look
you.
75. Yeah.
I feel like I would also look older, and I'm also always going to dye my hair and also my eyebrows. Not dyeing my eyebrows, but if I need to, I will. But I feel like I look younger when I draw my eyebrows in.
Right, right.
And
Aging is like parenting. Like when you are young and before you even have kids or when your kids are little and you watch people with older kids, you immediately, or even other kids, you're like, I would never do that. Or I'm never going to, do that with my kids. I'm never going to treat my kids. Or I'm not going to, they're not going to behave that way in public. And then you get to that stage and you think, I was so wrong. And I was so judgy. And I'm never going to say never. And that's how evolved as personally, how I evolved as a parent too, is thinking, oh my gosh, whatever way you need to parent, and whatever way is good for you and your children, like that works. And I don't know, I'm not living in your household or dealing with your kids. And it's the same with aging, right? Everybody has to age in a different way and approach aging in a different manner, right? I'm never going to say never to anything, even though I may not do some of those things now, or I may do things now that I think I'm going to do forever. But I don't judge anybody for the way they embrace it. I just don't want anybody to judge me for the fact that I have to go get my hair colored basically once a month and
who's
do a root
judging
touch up
you?
every 2 weeks.
Oh my
I
God, are
don't think
people?
anybody's judging
No
me.
one's
And I'm
judging
open
you.
about it. I'm not hiding it. This
Yeah.
is my natural color, folks, but I come by it unnaturally now. That's the reality.
I have to say, I have this, and I know we've talked about her before, and is that my one chin hair that every
Her.
yeah, she pops up every 8 weeks to 3 months. I never know when she's gonna arrive, and I think I would totally pay $75 to go to an electrolysis and get that sucker removed. It causes me so much anxiety. I've had to buy special products so I'm aware if she's visiting or not. I have that magnifying mirror and tweezers, and I'm like, I need to just keep a pair of tweezers with me in my car because I'm going to be the person plucking at the red light because I don't
Now,
want.
wait, you're 7 years younger. Do you use a magnifying mirror on a regular basis or only to figure out if your chin hair has emerged?
Oh, it's my special chin hair mirror. It's not
Okay.
because I can't see. And sometimes I don't want to see. I don't want to. I would, if I was going to give any piece of advice to anyone 35 and older, it's to never buy a magnification mirror because you just are, ignorance is bliss. You do not need to see that close to your face. I'm like, well, I don't think my pores were big. And then I look and I'm like, oh my God, look at, I have so many. Like, I don't need, who cares? No one is looking that close to my face. No one,
Well,
not
then I'm
even
going to
my
give
husband.
advice to anybody 50 or older and say, it is the best invention ever, this magnifying
Why?
mirror with a light, because I literally cannot put on my makeup without it now. I have a travel one. It is the only way I can see. My eyes have gotten so bad. I probably need to go to the eye doctor. That's another issue. But I cannot see close. I cannot see far. But I have to use that magnification mirror with the light in order just to put on my eyeliner, or else I have no I have no idea where that eyeliner is going. So it has been a godsend. If I don't have a magnification mirror, I literally I'm lost. It is debilitating at this point. And
I
I will
know
say they sell very expensive ones, but about a year ago I got a
Marshalls.
really awesome one. Well, I got one at Costco
Oh,
for like 19.99,
well,
and
that's a good price.
it's brilliant. 10 times light up, two sides. I highly recommend.
Mine does not have a light. I think I need that. You know, I'm finding that I just can't even read the shampoo bottle anymore. And I know what
Oh,
that shampoo bottle says. I don't know why I have to read
terrible.
it. I'm
Yeah.
like, really? I know, rinse and repeat. I know what the shampoo industry is trying to get us to do. They're trying to get us to use more shampoo when we don't need to. Do I really need to rinse and repeat?
No,
No.
I don't think so. And you only need like a dime size. Well, maybe for our hair, a quarter size.
Maybe a little. No, I like to use a lot of shampoo when I do use it. I've got a lot of things going on with my hair.
You've got a lot of hair going on with your hair.
The worst is when Aaron's like, there's something in your hair, right? And he's like, stop what you're doing. I've trained him. I don't want to know if it's alive, first of all, the thing in my hair. And I've trained him just to immediately say, it is not alive, even if it's
Even
dead
if it
or
is.
a bug or not a bug, whatever. I don't want to know. Just get it out of my hair and get it out quickly.
There could be things still living in there.
Probably. All my secrets. My secrets are living in my hair. So speaking of Aaron, there's something I promised myself that I would never do, and I am doing it. And that
Oh, wait, is this PG? I want to make sure.
I don't know. We started off the podcast with dry humping.
All
and
right,
then-
just making sure we haven't gone down a rabbit hole we can't come back from.
That's right. You started it too. That was really off brand for you to even use that expression. But yeah, so no, I'm dressing him. I've been dressing him, but I
Oh,
want to say
gosh.
styling him within his style. And because he's men wear uniforms, okay? First of all, men wear
Yep.
uniforms. I'm just trying to update his uniform.
Yeah.
Add
It's
some.
like if they had adult Garanimals, like literally, I think that's what men
Yes,
would wear. Yeah, that's exactly all they
totally.
need.
Why don't they make adult
They
Garanimals?
should make adult Garanimals.
I,
It's brilliant.
do you know about Garanimals and my history with Garanimals?
I do not.
So, who's the Dr. Joyce Brothers? You know who she
Yes,
is?
yes, I
She's
remember.
a sex therapist from, I'm sure she's dead, but in the 80s. Is
80s,
Dr.
like the
Ruth alive?
60s, right?
Yeah, she's Dr. Joyce Brothers. Must have been like an investor or part owner in Garanimals. Did you know that?
Really? How do
Yeah.
you know that?
I know this because Garanimals had a little fashion show on the Tom York show, which, for those of you who don't live in Birmingham and didn't grow up at Birmingham in the 1980s, Tom York was our local
Loved Tom York.
news morning
Mhm.
show host. He had the Tom York show, and they had Dr. Joyce Brothers on. They're doing a kids fashion show for Garanimals, and the guy who was in charge of casting the kids for the fashion show, so I don't know, mommy knows the full story,
Yeah.
took one look at me, saw me somewhere, and said, I want her, right? And it was because I was 3, 4, and I had that giant afro, the giant Jufro of curly hair, right? I mean, I was adorable and I was really precocious. So, which is probably not a good quality to have in a kid that's going on live television. So, we're backstage. I'm so excited to be a model, right? As we have established. And
Full circle, full circle.
full circle. And I was backstage and it just did not look like how I expected a fashion show to look. And I was like, said to mommy, I'm not doing this. I don't want to go out there and there are all these lights and cameras and wires and there was no audience. I didn't understand what was going on. So I said, I'm not doing this. And the guy who cast me was freaking out. He's like, what? She's my favorite one. She's wearing my favorite outfit. What does she mean? Well, she's not doing it. And mommy said, don't worry, I'll handle this. So she pulled me aside and said, you don't want to do the fashion show? And I said, nope. And she said, okay, you don't have to. And I said, great. And she goes, but I am going to call Julie Meyerson and see if she wants to do it instead.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, I'll do it.
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh,
hilarious.
I wish there's no digital version of the Tom York show. I mean, do they have that in the archives anywhere? I
No,
don't
there's
know.
no
Even
way.
how we'd find it. I bet I'm
But
gonna go.
I did look up Dr. Joyce Brothers, who sadly
Yeah.
passed away in 2013 at the age of 85, though. May she
Okay.
rest in peace. She was a psychologist, television personality. She was on game shows. And you're right. Garanimals is a children's clothing line founded in 1972, and the line was designed to be simple enough for children to coordinate the outfits themselves, an approach championed by no less an authority than Dr. Joyce Brothers, who said that it, quote, helps the preschooler to handle his or her own wardrobe. That sense of I can fosters the child's growing sense of independence. Good for you, Dr. Joyce Brothers. And now all we ask is that you create a line for grown ass men so that they too can say, I can, and have a sense of independence from their wives who are trying to dress them.
But we just call it duh animals.
Duh, animals.
It's the updated version.
That's funny.
Well, now I'm gonna go Google Tom York show and contact the people there and see if we can get that footage.
All
I
right,
swear,
if you
I'm
find
good
that
at-
footage.
I am.
epic.
I'm gonna find that footage. I'm gonna
Find that
report back
footage.
next week.
Find that footage. Find that footage.
Well, thanks for listening to the latest Sis and Tell podcast. Don't forget to share us with your friends, share us with your family, share us with your foes.
As always, this has been Amanda and Allison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.